All right, you guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. This is our Tuesday Zoom, and as always, hopefully, we have a lot of great information and education. Tonight, we're going to do things just a little bit different, so I hope you guys will participate as we go along because this earlier this week we did a kind of get to know your summer BOGOs from doTERRA. If you're watching this as a replay, this is, let's see, July 20th through July 24th, 2026. So if you've missed that window, you can still go in and we'll be talking about all of the different products that are available and uses and recipes and emotional benefits and you name it. So tonight, you guys, as class is titled Rescue, Reset, and Renewal. I think there are so many really great products that we're going to be talking about. And as we talk about each one, I'm going to open it up and we're going to share in the space of each oil instead of waiting until the very end. And of course, we will stay on till the end and we will answer any other questions or testimonials, or as we go along. If you're like me, I hear somebody say something and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that, or oh yeah, we use it for this and this. And so that's what I love these classes for, is we are able to educate you and so that you can get the most out of your essential oils. And remember that when we're talking about our recipes and protocols, we are only speaking to doTERRA. It is the one that I know, it's the one that I trust. And so let's get started. All right, so you guys can buy 5, you get 7 free, plus if you buy the BOGO bundle or you purchase 175, you'll get a bottle of our Frankincense Boswellic Acid Complex. You guys, these are amazing. We're going to talk about those in just a minute. I also want to remind you that these promotions are while supplies last. So I haven't seen any updates of anything selling out quite yet. We're only in the first day. Or through the first day, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so here is a snapshot of the BOGOs, and you can see that with these, what's great is you can purchase just the pairings. So if you love the helichrysum, lavender, and peppermint, you can buy up to 5 of those sets at a time. Or you can buy 2 of those, and you can buy 2 of the spearmint, get the eucalyptus for free, or you can buy the entire bundle. It is a great value, and all of these, as you see as we're going through tonight's class, you're going to see why you want to get these in your household if you don't have them. And if you already have them, then hopefully you'll be able to come up with a few different reasons and ways that you will want to use them. So I just want to ask these questions. It's like, do you find yourself or somebody that you care about experiencing any of these? I mean, with summertime, it's activities and everybody's on the go, whether they're traveling or, doing sports or hiking and camping. More than likely, you will come in contact and get a cut, a bruise, or a scrape of some kind. And so we've got some great solutions. Or maybe it's that you've just been in the sun too much. I hang out with my daughter-in-law is super, super fair-skinned, which means my grandbaby is. And so they are in the sun even for 15 minutes, and they've got a little bit of sun kiss on their cheeks. And so we are very careful in what we select to put on their skin before, during, and after if they're going to get some sun. And then also, you guys, I don't think there's any time of year that we don't have different feelings of overwhelm or too much on our plate, or but sometimes when we have a lot longer daylight, that means we're packing more and more things into the day, and so it might have a little bit of overwhelm with that. And then just I also believe that there's days when everything is just perfectly fine and seems great, and there's days when nothing's really changed, but I don't feel happy and cheerful about it. So on those days when I feel unmotivated or maybe a little stuck, I definitely turn to my essential oils first thing to make sure that I am getting the best and the most out of my day. And it's amazing how quickly you can take a sadness or just feeling those overwhelmed or tired or stressed and you can turn it around very, very quickly simply by using your essential oils. Grab one, put a few drops in your hands, take a few deep breaths, and then, put it where you need to, on the back of your neck or on the bottoms of your feet or wherever. Now, we've got some really great stuff, so let's go. Okay, just one more oversight of the BOGOs. So as we look through these, I want you to kind of pick the ones that you are most in love with, the ones that you reach for, and then I am going to open it up in just a second as we break down each one of these different ones and give reasons and ways that we use them. Okay, so the first one, this is kind of like a first aid kit. These essential oils come in a roller bottle, so they have 170 drops of oil in there. They are already diluted perfectly for everyone in your household. So you can use them on your pets, you can use them on, older skin, you can use them on brand new baby skin, and you're going to be able to be just fine. Now in this BOGO pairing, you buy the helichrysum, and and then you get the lavender and the peppermint for free. It is a $21 wholesale value each. So really, you guys, this is a $42 savings. It's really, really great. So as we get ready, I'm going to just kind of go over a few things, and I'm going to open it up for anyone who wants to share some of the ways that they're using these oils for. So on this page, we're talking about peppermint and lavender touch. Now, I know that peppermint, one of the reasons that I love using it, you guys, I was just talking to a girl today and I said, I have these passive diffusers in my house, which means it's just like something that holds the oil, and I can set it in my cupboard, I can put it in drawers, I can put it in a windowsill under a bed, and the oil will just sit there because it absorbs into like wood or a piece of leather. I have these little sachets that are cotton, and on the inside of them, they're filled with either wood chips or lavender flowers. And then what I do is I'll just put them in my drawers with my, socks and my underwear and my pajamas. And about every 3 months I go through and I will add essential oil to those to keep them nice and refreshed. And then luckily enough that when I take my clothes out, they smell like that, just a real nice light scent. Now what I love about the roller is you could take that and you could just roll it right onto the surface. So sometimes I'll go to different places. My husband does a lot of woodworking, and so out in our shop he'll have just little leftover pieces of wood, so I'll use those to put the essential oil on and then put them in the garage or around. So you can see one of my favorites is peppermint because of those little beady eyes that are shown on the bottom of the left corner. You can also take it and put it right on the wood trap, and then it will actually, that will repel them or distract them from wanting to be around it. And so I use peanut butter on my wood traps. We've gone to another way to capture mice, which I'm not going to get into tonight. I also want to talk about the emotional benefit of peppermint. You guys, it is the oil of the buoyant heart. And it helps us when our heart and our soul might be a little stagnant, or it might be overwhelmed, or it might just have too much in it. It helps to open it up and to remind us not to let fear control us. So many times when we're faced with fear, or we're worried about something, we forget to take those deep breaths. And so one of the things I love about peppermint is it's invigorating. It helps to open up those senses, and it helps us to remember to take those deep breaths. Peppermint is also really, really great for repelling spiders. So when I was talking about those passive diffusers, or you can just roll it on different areas, and so I find this very, very beneficial. And then the other oil that you get for free here is Lavender Touch. Now Lavender Touch and peppermint, you guys, these are like the Swiss Army knives of essential oils. You can use them for so many things, where peppermint is very cooling, has a cooling effect. lavender has a very calming effect. Now, whether it's emotions, whether it's a skin irritation, or so many different things, lavender is very, very calming. Again, you can just roll it into your hands. You like, uh, little people, you can put it on the bottoms of their feet. One thing to keep in mind about lavender is if you overuse it, it can have the opposite effect. So a lot of times we've had, moms come in with their little kids and they're like, I read that you're supposed to use peppermint. And I'm like, okay, how much? And they made them wild, and I'm like, well, how much did you use? Oh, I just opened it up and I got it all over them. And I'm like, okay, wait, you got to slow the roll. We always teach less, more often. So start with a little tiny bit. And that's what I love these rollers for, is because they're ready and you don't have to worry about getting too much. So places you could put it is on the bottoms of the feet. You could put it across their neck. If somebody were to get a little bit too much sun, simply just, you could roll the peppermint on to cool it, and you could put the lavender on to calm it down. And we've got so many testimonials and times when people have used these in addition to helichrysum. So we'll go to helichrysum on just the next page. Actually, I'm going to go there, and then we'll open it up for all helichrysum, peppermint, and lavender shares. Okay, so you guys, with helichrysum, it is known as liquid stitches. I 100% carry this essential oil in my car. I have it in my little travel kit. It sits in a drawer in our kitchen where we have like our first aid oils, because it is so beneficial for any kind of bruising, whether it's topical, whether it's internal. It helps with bleeding. I don't know if Tammy is on here. Maybe she'll share with us how she likes to use it in a couple of testimonials where she has. But I want to share with you guys one thing really quick about the emotional benefit for helichrysum. It helps us with intense emotional pain. When you can look at somebody, and I often have said, it's like we're walking around wounded. Everybody has something that, not everybody, and I'm not going to put that on people, but it's like there are a lot of people who have had so much life happening around them that it's been a little intense. And so helichrysum on an emotional level helps us to work through that emotional pain. Tammy has a friend or an associate that she has that works with little kids who deal with PTSD and a lot of trauma. And she found that when she started diffusing helichrysum, when those kids would come into the area, they were able to be more calm and be able to talk about what they had experienced a lot easier than before without the essential oils. You guys, I love this for everything. Everything. Like if you have seasonal allergies, or if you have puffiness or swelling under your eyes, this one along with copaiba are perfect to just roll on under the eyes. Now, let's see. Amy is on here from Australia, and she had asked a question about putting her oils in a refrigerator. And actually, that's a really great way to store them, because it helps to protect them from, the only thing that can take the energy out of an essential oil is the sunshine. Even heat can take a little bit of that energy away from them, but keeping it nice and cold, I read that and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can just imagine a cold roller of helichrysum going on underneath my eyes after a long day, and my eyes are tired from looking at a computer or whatever. So you guys, it's so amazing. It's really, really great. I'm going to go ahead and open up and see if anybody has a testimonial or a tip that they want to share about one of these three oils.
Me. I'll share a little bit about all of them.
Thanks, Tammy.
You're welcome. So helichrysum, not only talking about the emotional part and benefits, where yes, somebody I know who is a therapist loved using that, but physically, being liquid band-aids, I had my granddaughter and one of my granddaughters, so I have multiples now, but she was probably in 5th grade, I think. She was here visiting for Christmas and had just had her tonsils taken out. Excuse me. And when she got here, she had her tonsils and adenoids taken out in Reno, which is about 4 hours away. And she got here, and overnight she was playing the next on Christmas Day, and blood just started coming out of her mouth, like profusely. So I had remembered that we had liquid Band-Aid, and clots were coming out. And sorry about being so descriptive, but it was scary. So I had helichrysum. I had my husband, because I still had other grandkids and company here. He went to drive her to the hospital, which is across town, which is about, I don't know, 4 miles. Anyway, I had remembered about helichrysum. And so she was, again, sorry about the description, but we were pulling clots. It was almost like an arterial bleed, if you know what that is. That's what it reminded me of. We were able to put helichrysum all over her throat. And there was so much blood. I thought, what the heck? I didn't know if it was coming out of her nose, her mouth. And I know it was coming out of her mouth because I had to pull a clot out. But by putting helichrysum on her, and then having my husband bring the car, take her to the hospital, putting it on again, by the time that she was seen in the ER, the bleeding had stopped. So the ER doctor, of course, reached out to her physician in Reno and said, what was going on. Anyway, the bleeding had stopped. So it was super, super amazing. So not only have I actually had people and or personal experiences with the emotional side, but the physical side of helichrysum. That's what I love about these oils, that we have so many benefits. And then, really quick, I just used peppermint roll-on the other day. I had a gal come into the store. Now we make the full strength cool off spray, and it's been really hot here. It's been like 97, 100. And I had a gal come in who has been in the store before, and she always talks about being scent sensitive to smell. Anyway, she was just pouring sweat and talking about, oh, I think it might be hormonal or I don't know what. But I was able to take the peppermint roll on, the peppermint touch. I had her just roll it on the back of her neck and just take a couple of deep breaths to smell it. She'd had some trauma recently, so it allowed her not only to cool off, but to breathe, because we know that peppermint can help oxygenate the blood. So I love that. Of course, for me, being a doTERRist, I just use the full strength oils, but I love, because I have grandkids from the age of 20 to 3 months, that when doTERRA makes these rollers, that I feel comfortable using the touch oils on anybody in my family, no matter their age or size, even my fur baby, my dog. And then lavender. Sorry, I'm going to keep going because this is a trio that I love. Lavender, we know also is a natural antihistamine. And for me, if my eyes are itchy, during seasonal stuff, we've been really windy here. It's been muggy, rainy, but my eyes have been real itchy or burning. I love taking the lavender oil and rolling it or dabbing it under my eyes and under my nose. But again, 2 of my grandchildren that live here are very sensitive to seasonal things also. So I keep lavender touch all over my house. One, for in the kitchen especially. The kids are there usually, because also one of my kids love to cook, my grandkids. So he's always experimenting. But when they're sneezing or they're got a runny nose or itchy eyes, they can actually take the lavender touch themselves and roll it under their eyes and, dab it under their nose. And I don't have to worry about it having the reverse effect by overstimulating or, burning or anything like that, because it's perfectly diluted for anybody. So there it is on the trio.
It's awesome, Tammy. Thank you for sharing all of those. Just great tips. As you were talking about your granddaughter and helichrysum, I remember Rick having about a golf ball size mass taken out of the top of his head, and how when he came home there was not only a great big huge divot, but gosh, there was just like stitches and all the stuff. And we started applying helichrysum and lavender and immortelle, and you guys, today, which it's probably been a year now, but it's like you can't even tell that there was anything there. And so this stuff, it's amazing. It really works. If you're part of our Good Vibes tribe, you can go in there and you can just search each one of these products individually and find more and more things. Okay, anybody else want to touch on any of these three before we move on to the next?
Can I talk?
Yes. Hi, Levi.
Hi. I wanted to talk about helichresium. Um, what I wanted to talk about it was wrestling because we have this like the kids combo thing. And we put helichresium in it because if I get like a bloody nose or if I get a bruise, we put it on and it works great and it like takes away the pain. That's why I love it. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I have like a scratch right here from my cat, Kevin. Uh, Last night he scratched me and it like zinged really bad because he has stuff under his claws. So then we put lavender and helichresium on it and it took the zing away and it worked really, really good.
Tea tree.
And tea tree.
Yeah. Oh, Jeremiah needs to talk too, so hold on.
Perfect. We love it. Thank you, Levi.
Yeah. So I want to talk about like so I got a really bad sunburn on my shoulder and it started like blistering and
He's a redhead.
And me and my mom used two different oils. One was lavender just to put on the sunburn and it's actually gotten way better. It used to be like completely pink. And we're also using peppermint to cool it down because like Levi annoys me and like scratches off the blisters. So we put both of those on.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Jeremiah, for sharing that. I love when our young ones talk and teach us because these two young men have been taught since they were babies, and it's pretty amazing. So, oh, we've got another one, it looks like.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
I was about helichresium.
Oh, sorry.
Actually, so we have a friend named Devin, and in a tournament in Colorado, he got a bloody nose, right? And then we gave it to him, and it helped.
That's awesome. And we know that we can pass these along, and you don't have to worry about, them having a bad effect, right? It's going to work really well. All right, you guys, let's move on to the next set. So the next ones are by Cheer, which this one comes in a 5 ml, which has 85 drops of oil. It's 100% pure oil. This has not only spices in it, but it has some citrus that really, brighten everything up. And then next to that, you get a grapefruit, 250 drops, and you save $20. So here's a snapshot of some of it. So if you know people who are repeatedly not morning people, do you know people who are not morning, right? It's like you could start diffusing this, 10 or 15 minutes before kids get up, or maybe you've got a cranky husband, or maybe you're the cranky one, is put this in your diffuser, start it going before, I have some people who's like, don't talk to me before coffee. And others say, don't talk to me before cheer. It really does have that emotional effect on people, just cheering you up. And so this is another one of our BOGOs. Now I'm going to go to grapefruit really quick, and it is the essential oil for honoring the body. Anybody who feels like they're constantly being judged, or maybe they constantly want to diet, or maybe they've had something happen to them, whether they're young or older, that has been violating their body, this grapefruit really is honest. It's a great one. It's uplifting. It is citrus, so you need to be careful putting it on your skin. Like the boys were saying, they got sunburned, or we've got a light-skinned, red-headed one, and so it's like you would not want to put grapefruit right on your body and then go out into the sun because it is photosensitive. I love it because it has that citrus uplift without being too sweet. And so, and you'll see here in the picture, GLP-1 is a real big buzzword going around right now. And this graphic was designed by PJ Hanks. I don't know how many of you guys know her. You can find her on social media, but she's got a protocol where you're adding fiber and protein. You're taking the PB Restore, which you guys we've done lots and lots of classes on this. It's pre, pro, and postbiotic. And then you add grapefruit, lemon, and peppermint into your water. And I was listening to another gal talk about grapefruit, and she's using like 25 drops throughout the day of grapefruit, and it's really helping, with those sugar cravings. It's a part of some of our metabolism, metabolic line. And so really, really great things to do. We have a school teacher. She's not on here tonight, so I'll kind of share for her is, when you're doing parent-teacher conferences, and she would come in, she's like, oh, I've got to talk to all of these parents, and I'm just beat, and I'm just feeling overwhelmed, and I just don't have any energy. I'm, stuck. And so I had her take a drop or two of cheer and a couple of drops of motivate, put them in the palm of her hands, rub her hands together. She was able to smell them, and it completely turned her mood around. And she had that passion to get out there and to go back to school, and she made it through. Well, since then, she keeps them in her bathroom next to the sink, and every morning she'll get up and she'll put those on as she's getting ready to go, and it really has helped with her mood and just, giving her that cheer. So, okay, we're going to open up and see if anybody has anything that they'd like to share about either of these two essential oils. Okay, we're going to go on to the next. Oh,
Can I?
yes. Please, Levi.
Good job. I wanted to talk about cheer because every day on the bus before school, there was this kid, and he was named Renato, and me and him would always smell it before school, and it would motivate our day.
I love it. There's so many different ways, and I'm thinking of school getting ready to start and how teachers are not happy about it, neither are the students. And it's like, what do we have in our box that we could get out and start using just when those feelings of, I don't want to do it, and I want you guys to think of times when, maybe you have to go grocery shopping and you're going, oh, I don't want to go grocery shopping, or doing the laundry, and be amazed, like get that chair, get it out where you're going to see it so you'll use it, put a couple of drops in your hands, and just see how your mood changes. Now here's another really fun thing is if you have that person who is cranky pants, right? Like when my kids were living at home, I used to take essential oil and I would put it like in the waistband of their underwear when I would fold it in the dryer, so then when they put it on, it would warm up where their waistband was, and it would activate that essential oil. I would also put it in the brim of a hat. And so they had essential oils all over them. They just didn't know it. But there's some really great ways that we can, kind of turn that frown upside down. Okay, the next pair of BOGOs is Adaptive and Balance. You guys, Adaptive is the calming blend. It was brought out the season right before we had COVID. And I'm so grateful for it because there's been many, many times before, during, and after that I have felt like I just need something to help me get through it. And I want to just have that little navigator where I just say, okay, Siri, take me to where I need to go without any obstacles. And that's how I feel about Adaptive. It is a 15 ml bottle. It's a blend of oils, but it's not diluted. It is different than the capsule. So if you are familiar with doTERRA's capsules, this one is different. Now, Balance is the one you get for free. It is known for the grounding blend. This is the essential oil that brought me to doTERRA. I had been living in a space where I was just shoving things down. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Everything's going to be okay. Just, get to work and get busy and be distracted. And then there was times when my body would just go, okay, enough. Like, you need to settle down. My face was starting to swell when I would get upset, or, just all these different things. And what I found with Balance is I would open it up no one was here to teach me. There was no books or anything. And I instinctively would just open it up, put it in my hands, breathe it in, and then I could, put it on my chest or something. Well, I'll never forget being on the phone one time, and I was handling a fraud type situation, and I was getting a little bit heated and very upset. And I remember going, okay, can you hold on just a second? And I grabbed my Balance. I opened it up, I put it on, I smelled it, and within seconds I could feel my whole body just go, and so it was so great for me to be able to use that to find that calmness and to be grounded. Now, some people really reach for adaptive first, and some people reach for balance first. So, adaptive, you can see here, it has wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint. It's got some flower oils, some herbs. And so it's going to be a different type of coping oil than, say, balance, where balance is got frankincense, white fir, fir. It's got some tansy in there, and it's very, very calming and very grounding. So think of, going into the forest and being supported, or, with that frankincense, or more uplift and calming. Magnolia I absolutely love, because if you look at the floral oils, some flowers are so delicate, like a rose, you touch the petals and pretty soon they're turning, colors. With a magnolia leaf, it's like thick. And so it's, even though it offers a lot of that very soft feminine gentleness, it's also very sturdy. So you guys can use these for so many different ways. And if you read through here, I have balance and adaptive sitting right on my bathtub. On the edge of it, I have like 10 or 15 oils that are there always. And when I get ready to take a nice hot soak, I just kind of go, what do I want to feel more of right now? What does my body need? Do I need to be grounded? Do I need to be calm? Is there pain? Like, do I need to be cooled off? And so that's how I'm choosing them. So as you guys can see these screens, feel free to take screenshots of them. I am going to open it up to see if anybody has any testimonials or tips that they'd like to share with either of these two oils.
I would like to share. So in our house, we use a ton of both of these. And like you spoke about balance, but for me, balance and adaptive are huge when I give aroma touch techniques. I typically will diffuse both of these underneath their nose while they're receiving the aroma touch. And it's amazing. Yes, the aroma touch technique is a phenomenal experience, but just getting those diffused at the same time, it's amazing. They get off the table and they are completely different human beings. We also use both of these in all of our baths, in our showers. Like, this gets used a lot with our dogs to calm them, because they're both fearful of guns and of thunder and lightning. So I like the versatility of both of these oils. And it was interesting they put them together, because our whole family, from outside animals to indoor kiddos, we use them very, very often.
I love that. We do a blend here in the store that we call Relaxin, which is a blend of these plus Serenity. And I want you guys to remember that when you have the resource books, like the emotional book, or you have the physical book from Oil Life, what I love to do is, it's like, okay, what am I trying to create? Like, what am I feeling over and over and over? And you'll find, if you're like me, and I'm sure Sarah can relate to this too, is it's like there's seasons when life is handing us a lot. There are seasons when we may not be getting handed as much. There are seasons when, that what I love about adaptive is it has that citrus with it. So it really is uplifting at the same time as it's got copaiba and, magnolia and lavender, neroli, that are they're very soothing and very calming. And you'll see here how you can use them in aromatic ways, or you can use them topical. The main thing is you want to get them out and you want to get them on you. I love having them where I need them. So like the balance sits right next to my bed. First thing that I have a morning routine where I do some spiritual grounding and stuff like that. But I put that balance right on the bottoms of my feet before my feet even hit the ground. And I think part of that is the intention of that I'm fully supported. And so just so good, you guys. And if you're curious about what they'd smell like together, take the lids off of both of them and hold them up to your nose, and then just kind of whip them back and forth, and you'll really get that aroma of what they're like. And if you like one more than the other, so I definitely go balance first, where I've got a son who called me up the other day and he's like, Mom, do you have any extra adaptive? I need it. And I'm like, you know what? I'll get it for you. Whatever it is, I'll get it to you. So, because it really helps him, he's got a new job and all that stuff. So, anyhow, all right. So, the next BOGO is buy spearmint, get eucalyptus for free. Now, I want you guys to picture yourselves in a nice, the most beautiful spa that you can imagine. You're sitting and you're listening to a waterfall and the lights are dim and there's candles burning in the corners. You got a big old huge quartz crystal, and maybe you're sitting on a heated bench of some kind with a towel over you, and you have no worries. Like, everything that is outside of that room is silent. And what I love about eucalyptus is that's where, when I smell that, that's where I go. And I don't know if it's because I've been able to go to different spas, and when you walk in, you've got that spa aroma or that eucalyptus. It's just like there's something so wonderful about it. And then you add the smell of spearmint. So you guys, we've talked about peppermint and how invigorating it is and how cooling it is. Well, spearmint is the gentle sister to peppermint. It has less of a bang for it. And so it helps get things done, and it helps cool things off, but much softer. So if you know somebody, like Tammy was mentioning, that she's got somebody who's super sensitive to, aromas and smells, well, spearmint might be the perfect one to add to that. So the eucalyptus, the spearmint, I know sometimes I'll add a little bit of rosemary to this blend, and I love lime. Anyone who knows me knows that lime is my super oil, my superpower. And so I will put a little lime in there. I will create a roller bottle with it, because eucalyptus has lots of really great benefits for your sinuses. It opens up those airways, and then you have that mint that's just going to add that extra little bit of tingle. So here's a screen and remember, you guys can always take pictures of these, so you'll have them to fall back on. But anytime, you want to clear that mind. So eucalyptus, I love because there's a lot of bugs that don't like it. There's also, you can add lemon, you could add a bunch of different scents to it to really maximize it. Now, eucalyptus is one that is known for sinus support. Again, you've got, maybe you don't have a spa nearby. Maybe there's people who have saunas. Well, you could take it to the sauna. You could also drop it in the corners of your shower. I was just sharing the last video we did that we have back brushes in our showers, and I've just taken a little bit of eucalyptus and I've dropped it on that wood part of the brushes. So when the steam starts going, that eucalyptus scent just goes throughout the entire shower. And it's very relaxing for me, and I hope that anybody who gets to use that is also relaxed. Now, Tammy had mentioned a cool-off spray. So what we do is during the summertime or wintertime or whenever, like maybe you've got, people who have a fever or hot flashes or something like that, is we'll take mainly water, so maybe 2-ounce or 4-ounce bottle. And I would always start with less, and there's no perfect recipe. If you have our recipe book, you can find these recipes in there. But if peppermint is too strong, try spearmint and eucalyptus. Just add a couple of drops of each to some water, shake it up really good, spray it, and you can always add more. Just remember, you can't take less, so start with a little. Spearmint is also known to be the oil for confident speech. So we know, if you are familiar with chakras or our wheelhouse and how our body energy centers work, we have our throat, and sometimes you might feel like you've got a frog in your throat, or that little you got to clear your throat a lot. Well, you could put spearmint on the outside of your throat, just a drop or so. You could also take the spearmint and make your own tea. And that's what I love about doTERRA's essential oils, is most of them have the supplement facts on the side of the bottle. So you can simply just look, if it has a supplement fact, put a drop in your water and stir it up really good. And gosh, you guys, even if it's lemonade, put a drop of spearmint in your lemonade and just see how much it adds that nice little just spike of difference and a flavor boost. Really, really good. And you can see here, if you know somebody who is shy, or maybe it's you that is, doesn't want to be out in public a lot. Maybe you're the one that wants to be, stand in the corner and hope nobody notices you. Well, what spearmint will do for you emotionally is it helps you to be able to communicate what you're trying to say with more confidence. It also can help you feel like, gosh, it's like your superpower, right? That you just are, you arms out, up, and you're ready to talk to people and express yourself. There's also here a recipe for a mojito. Now, you guys, I love mocktails, cocktails. Just taking our essential oils, you could take the grapefruit and the spearmint together. Now, we talked about cool-off spray. That would be a great combination. Maybe a drop of cheer, a couple drops of grapefruit, a couple of drops of spearmint, shake it up really good, and or eucalyptus. I mean, the sky's the limit on what you guys can create. Okay, does anybody have anything they'd like to share on spearmint or eucalyptus?
Yep.
Thanks, Tammy.
So like you were saying, eucalyptus in every shower. I don't care year round. It's just nice and clean and refreshing. Something else is eucalyptus, not only like in the corner of the shower, but you could actually even put it on like in your shampoo, just to kind of refresh. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to be really good and help with your smell and all that kind of stuff. But spearmint, I love spearmint. I do aroma touches, and you've already talked about I use spearmint, rosemary, and bergamot, and I diffuse that every time I give an aroma touch. So I get it all in the diffuser, and it's going, 20 minutes or so before my aroma touch is going to start. And people have asked me, can you make me one of those? I love that. I just want to, they're rewriting. They want that memory, that smell to remind them. Not only do we get the amazing smells from the aroma touch oils, but just so that's something that brings back a relaxing memory. So love it. Love the spearmint. And like I said, eucalyptus in every bath, every shower, so that's it.
I love thinking about some of the oils. When you were talking, Tammy, I was thinking, gosh, we haven't talked about putting essential oils in your belly button for a while. But it's like, right up here, it says indigestion, nausea, colic. You can take the oil, and if you've got a smaller, younger person, I shouldn't say smaller, but a younger person or a baby or a toddler, you would want to take and add some coconut oil or maybe some castor oil to the spearmint, and then you could just drop it in, rub it into their little belly. If they're having a hard time going to the bathroom, you could add rosemary to that and just kind of give them a lower abdomen massage, and it's really going to be great for relaxing the stomach and getting things to flow. And then that mental clarity is, maybe the first thing in the morning is I've got a lot to do, and I've got all these things, and I'm having a hard time because now I'm getting overwhelmed. Maybe going to your diffuser and putting things like spearmint and eucalyptus, maybe a drop of adaptive, or maybe, so when we do hospice here, we have a blend we have a few blends, but one of them that I love the most is Citrus Bliss with Serenity. And sometimes people are like, what? Like, what are you thinking with those two? Because when you look at a situation where people are going through a very difficult time, emotions are high, people are, scattered, and they don't know, what if they're coming or going. Well, we use the Serenity to calm down the area, and we use the Citrus Bliss to uplift and make people feel like they're going to make it, like it's going to be okay. And so when you're thinking outside of the box, what are the combinations of things that I want to get some support from? And they're really, that's another thing that I love about education classes, learning more, because the more you learn and the more you reach for them, the more you'll see, gosh, I don't need so many of these other things that used to be causing side effects and things to go wrong in my body that my body's not happy with. And we can create, smells that are great. I go to meetings and I go out to do all these different things, and people always are saying, gosh, you smell so good. What is it? And I'm like, well, I've got about 32 oils on from breakfast. I'm not really sure which one you're smelling, but that's who I am. That's what we do. Okay, next BOGO, you guys, is buy the frankincense plus Nile wood stick, which these are incredible. I love the sticks. I wish, here's my wish for next product launch for doTERRA is an insect repellent stick. Oh gosh, tell me that wouldn't be amazing, right? That's in a stick form. You just put it on, no oil. It's ready to go. Okay, you buy the frankincense stick and you get the Copaiba Touch for free. You guys, this is a great, I should have superhero capes on these because these are both go-to essential oils that our family uses on a regular basis, every single day. Before I go, does anybody want to talk about either of these products? Oh, we've got hands up. Jeremiah.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, so most of you guys know that I got hit with a golf club in the eyebrow. I had to go to Children's Medical, life-flighted, and so me and my mom both put frankincense stick on my eyebrow.
How did we do it?
And since it was so painful to like rub it on, my mom took the lid and she would sometimes heat it up and she would take the lid and scrape it off and then grab and rub it on my eyebrow. And she'd also do the frankincense from day one, like after my surgery, right in the hospital. I took the frankincense
Capsules. Yeah.
And
what did they do?
just make me feel like I can do anything.
Say that again.
They make me feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. I love, first of all, that they're so versatile. That hi Luke. We got the whole family here tonight. We love it. Is being able to have the frankincense stick and Sarah's going, okay, it's a sensitive area. We can't really take it and rub it on, but how can we? And I think part of that is when you have a situation that comes up and your body is unhappy, or your pet or whatever, it's like, okay, what's the best application? And this is where some of them, the essential oils like frankincense, you can get in a stick, you can get it in a roller, you could get it in the pure essential oil that you can drop out of the top, and now you can get it in a capsule too. So we have all these different ways, and I love that it was able to give Jeremiah that, I'm going to say, peace, and that he could do anything, and sometimes I think if you've been around essential oils for very long, I'm sure it's safe to say some of us are going, okay, well, what is it really working? Like, is this like the placebo thing? Like, what's really happening here? And I'm going to just tell you, it's like, for me, my experience is I don't want to figure it out what it would be like without them. Right, Bobby? I'm so glad that you're on the screen. But it's like, because there's so many different ways that I use them in so many ways every single day. And I'm so grateful. And I, with Jeremiah, I mean, he had a not only emotional traumatic experience, but a physical one on top of it. And he's getting ready to go into a surgery. So everybody give him some extra love and prayers for him and his family, that it goes better than expected. And I know it will. And you've been such I'm going to use the word warrior in showing us that it's scary, but you can do tough things, right? And I see Bobby on here, and I see so many stories and things where it's been a life-changing experience. So Jeremiah, thank you so much for being the one, and Sarah too, and Luke and Levi, the whole family is being able to use these products, being consistent. So when people say things like they don't work, or I don't think it works, or I didn't notice anything, it's like, well, did you use it? Did you get it out? Did you use it once? It's like in most situations, we didn't get where we are in one day or one try or 1 hour. It's like, it's a lifetime of things, and now we get to, support it. And what I love about it is, you guys, these essential oils have side benefits, not side effects. And even if you use the wrong one, right? So Jeremiah could put cheer oil on his eye. It's not going to hurt it, right? It may not be the right or the best one, but it's not going to hurt it. So I just love it. I love, and so Copaiba. Sarah, will you also tell, your mom stole yours, right? Your Copaiba Touch?
Yes. In fact, I was trying to find it because it stays in our go-to bag. We've learned to have a go-to bag since we have to go to Children's every 30 days. And I could not find it for the life of me. And I'm like, man, I know I took it to fair. So I asked my mom, I said, hey, have you seen my Copaiba Touch? And she's like, yeah, I took that from you when you left it at my house at fair because it's helping with the inflammation under my eye for allergies. She said, my allergies are so bad the last couple months. She goes, I couldn't figure out anything that would work. And I took your Copaiba roller and it's completely gone. So, yeah.
Well, you can't leave them laying around, that's for sure. And we were talking about it, and Sarah was saying how she had her peppermint touch at fair also, and she's, around a lot of people who are not really exposed or don't have their own oils. So she's taken the lid off and she's putting it on the back of her neck and she's passing it around and it doesn't come back to her. And so you guys, and I'm sure whoever, maybe somebody got it and said, I don't even know where it goes because so many people were passing it around. And, for that, it's like, hopefully the person enjoys it, right? And when we get the opportunity to buy 5 oils and get 7 for free, you gotta just chalk it up to that it went to the right person and they're going to be able to use it. You guys, and you look at all of these different things that you can use for these two. My one tip on this is anytime you're putting a stick on and you have an essential oil. So for instance, if I were going to be putting Copaiba on a sore elbow or a sore shoulder, I would put the oil touch on first, let it sit for a second, and then I would come by with the frankincense stick and put it on the top. And the same thing, like I love, one of my favorite things is the deep blue oil. Like I'll just drop it on a sore area, kind of rub it in a little, and then a second later I'm putting that frankincense stick over the top. Hey, you also have a testimonial for your mom and the frankincense stick, right? Will you share that too, Sarah, please?
I do. I forgot about that one. So she, what are those called? Calcified, like bone spurs, essentially. And she gets them on her hand and she gets them on her knees. And so frankincense stick had just come out and she's like, well, I might as well. She's one of those people where she just randomly starts putting things. So like she said with cheer, it won't hurt. She just randomly puts things. It has no idea why. And she put it on her hand, Baker's cyst. There we go. Baker's cyst. And she was putting it on the top of her hand and on her knee. And the one on her hand, they had told her, we're going to have to go in for surgery. Multiple times they've told her. And she said, I just don't, I don't want to go down that road, da, 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 da. And she put it on, I think it was like, I want to say 14 days. And she took a picture and it was gone, like gone. And they couldn't believe it because she was headed in for like some sort of scan to make sure it wasn't attached to any tendons, and it was completely gone. And so she started doing it to her knee like ×2, and it's completely gone as well.
So cool. I mean, one thing that I've also heard people talking about for the frankincense stick is if they have dark spots like on their skin, they'll put that on. Recently, my husband had some suspicious moles taken off. And so, of course, it has that little, sore or whatever. So he's been just taking the helichrysum. He'll dab that on because that's his magic oil. And then he takes that frankincense stick and just puts it right on the top. And you guys, it's amazing how quickly the skin starts to improve. I'm going, how do I be compliant? But I mean, it just improves and it's great. And I heard another gal who had some moles that she was kind of concerned with. And so oregano is one of my favorite oils for that. But you can also just take frankincense and just put it on top. And what she was doing is she's putting the frankincense oil, then the frankincense stick, and they just, over time, they just started to kind of peel and flake off, which is super awesome. You guys, what I love is you can use them in so many different ways, right? Okay, now we're going to go to the free product. Oh, go, Sarah.
One more. I just
Okay.
remembered. In fact, the boys just reminded me. My sister has Raynaud's really bad. So if you've not heard of Raynaud's, she's been a cyclist for her entire life, and she, cycles 200 miles and stuff. And she had to stop because her hands were going completely white, and she didn't have any feeling. They've done anything and everything, like you name it. So she had to quit cycling. She had to quit running all these marathons, and she started putting the frankincense stick. My mom gave it to her on her hands, and it's not completely gone, but she has started to be able to train again, and so she has feeling in her hands that she can lift weights again. So it was really exciting.
It's a big deal, you know. And here's another thing that we hear often is I started using this for X, Y, or Z, and then I noticed X was gone. Or something that they didn't even know would have anything to do with it, was a result of something really good. All right, so you guys, so you know what you can buy. You can buy the entire box, and you can get this bottle of the frankincense Boswellic acid capsules for free, or anytime in before the 24th. If you spend $175, you also can earn a free bottle of the frankincense capsules. Now, we use them for everything. I love when Jeremiah said, it just makes me feel like I can do everything or anything with them, so they help with all kinds of like mind clarity. doTERRA worked on putting these two together, so it's the actual resin from frankincense as well as the essential oil together. It helps with all kinds of, inflammation, your joints. It's really great antioxidant. Works really good for oxidative stress. There have been so many studies done with this that has just been incredible. And if you're curious about it, if you just go out there and Google search frankincense benefits, it's going to come up with so many different things. I remember I was on, I think, a coaching call with Sarah. I was in the airport, and a gal was sitting, across the table down from me a little bit, and we weren't talking. I don't think we were talking about frankincense. I think we were talking about lemon or something. And she came up to me later. She goes, "Oh my gosh, were you talking about frankincense? Do you have a way that I can get some?" And of course, I travel with little mini bottles. And so I gave her a little sample, and I said, and I gave her my card and everything. And she went on and she ordered. And, it's the other thing that I want you to really be mindful of is doTERRA is different. That we are certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils, that we don't put a bunch of fairy dust or other things in it to fill up the bottle. What you get is 100% pure essential oil. It is tested, it is tried, it is tested from the time they take it from the plant or the bark or the seed all the way through. So when they're putting it in different containers, they check for soap residue, they check, the bottles to make sure there hasn't been any contaminants, and they continue checking it until the bottle is clicked shut, ready for you to purchase. And what you see is what you get. When people come to me and they say, "Oh, I know, but I went to this big box store and they had frankincense and it was only, $15 for this big bottle." And I'm like, I promise you that you're getting $15 worth of frankincense, if any at all. And they've gotten really good at, mimicking or trying to duplicate or copy, and you just can't. So when it comes to your health, when it comes to the health of your family, for your friends, and when we're actually using this for medicinal purposes, don't risk taking something that could be compromised, that could cause a bad side effect. I always teach people to look at the side of the bottle, what are the cautions, and remember that for them to label the bottle 100% pure essential oil, it only has to have 6% pure oil in the bottle. The rest can be anything they want. What they do have to say is don't take it internal, or don't use it topical, or call poison control or something like that. And so if you're ever in question, make sure you reach out to the person who invited you here, or send me a message. I'm happy to help walk you through education, because it is important. All right, so let's see. Anybody have anything that they'd like to add for the frankincense capsules? Testimonial or something that they've witnessed? Okay. All right, so important things to remember that these promotions go July 20th through the 24th. They are valid while supplies last. You can purchase up to 5 bundles. So if you saw just the lavender, peppermint, and helichrysum, maybe that's what you want and you want to get 2 or 3 of them. Maybe you're going to give them to everybody in your family. Maybe you've got a family reunion coming and everybody needs their own. That would be a great time to be able to do that. You can buy it all as a bundle. And the way I'm ordering mine is on instant rewards. So if you already have a rewards order set up with doTERRA, then go in and do an instant reward. That way, when you put the first item in, so put helichrysum in your cart, automatically the other 2 free ones will pop up in there. You can also just search BOGO and it's going to come up with the box. So it's super easy. And if there's anything that we can do to help you guys, to support you in finding them, if you have any trouble, just call customer service. They're really great on the phone, or you can go online and chat with them live at being able to help to support you in getting what you need. I want to say thank you for taking the time to join us for this education. Hopefully you guys found a few new things that you can do with some of the things you either have or reasons that you want to get some of this stuff. It's amazing. I love it. I cannot imagine my household without it. If you have any questions, please reach out. We're always happy to help. Before we say goodbye, I just want to make sure if there's anything anyone wants to add before we say good night. This recording will be on YouTube. You can just search Haley B Essentials. You can find that there. You can share it with your friends, or if you're a part of our Good Vibes tribe, you'll be able to find this recording there also. You guys, thank you so much for joining us. I just am so excited to be a part of something so fun. I love hanging out with people who are on a wellness journey just like I am, and I love being able to learn from you. And so thanks. All right, you guys have a good one. We'll see you next time.